Banks present themselves as safe, trustworthy places to store your money. But what if the system isn't designed to help you grow it at all? Behind the polished branding and friendly apps is a model that quietly works against the average person. In this video, we're uncovering the secret banks don't want you to understand, how the financial system actually makes its money, and why knowing this changes how you should think about saving, debt, and investing. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Before we dive in, if you want clear financial truths that aren't usually explained this way, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future breakdowns. They make billions from your deposits. When you deposit money into your savings account, you might earn 0.5% interest if you're lucky. Meanwhile, your bank takes that same money and lends it out at 7%, 10%, or even 20% interest on credit cards and loans. This spread is how they make massive profits. Your money is working hard, just not for you. Banks are legally required to keep only a fraction of deposits on hand, called fractional reserve banking. This means they can lend out up to 90% of what you deposit. So that $1,000 sitting in your account, the bank is using $900 of it to make money elsewhere while paying you pennies. They built an empire on your deposits, and the returns you get are scraps from their table. Overdraft fees are a cash cow. Banks collect over $8 billion annually from overdraft fees alone. Here's the trick. They process your largest transactions first, not in chronological order. If you have $100 in your account and make 3 small purchases of $10 each, then one big purchase of $95, common sense says only the last one should overdraft. But banks process the $95 first, then hit you with overdraft fees on all 3 small purchases. That's 4 overdraft fees instead of 1, turning a small mistake into a $140 penalty. Some banks even encourage you to opt into overdraft protection, making it sound like a favor. But it's just permission to charge you $35 every time you swipe your card with insufficient funds, instead of simply declining the transaction. Credit card interest compounds daily. When banks advertise a credit card with 18% APR, most people think that's the yearly interest. Technically true, but here's what they don't tell you: that interest compounds daily. This means you're actually paying interest on your interest. If you carry a $5,000 balance and only make minimum payments, you could end up paying back over $12,000 over several years. The minimum payment trap is designed to keep you in debt longer. Banks set minimums so low, usually 2 to 3% of your balance, that you're barely covering the interest charges. Your principal barely moves, meaning you stay profitable for them for years or even decades. Hidden fees everywhere. Monthly maintenance fees, ATM fees, wire transfer fees, paper statement fees, minimum balance fees, the list goes on. Banks have mastered the art of nickel and diming customers with charges that seem small individually, but add up to serious money. A $12 monthly maintenance fee is $144 per year. Use an out-of-network ATM twice a month. That's another $120 annually. Want to send money to a family member? Wire transfer fees can hit $30 per transaction. These fees disproportionately hurt people with smaller account balances. If you can't maintain a $1,500 minimum balance, you get charged. It's expensive to be poor, and banks profit from it. They sell your financial data. Every transaction you make creates a data point. What you buy, where you shop, how much you spend, banks track it all. This information is incredibly valuable to advertisers and data brokers. While banks claim they anonymize this data before selling it, it still creates a profile of your spending habits that gets monetized. You're not just a customer, you're a product. Your financial behavior helps companies target you with ads and offers. Banks make money from this without ever giving you a cut or even being fully transparent about the practice. Savings accounts lose to inflation. That 0.5% interest on your savings account sounds nice until you realize inflation runs at 3 to 4% annually. This means your money is losing purchasing power every single year. It sits in a traditional savings account. Banks know this but won't tell you. They'd rather you keep money parked with them, earning almost nothing, while they invest it for real returns. High-yield savings accounts exist and offer better rates, but most banks don't advertise them to existing customers. They quietly offer 0.01% to loyal customers, while giving 4% to new ones as promotional rates. It's cheaper for them to keep you uninformed than to pay you fairly. Loan pre-approvals are marketing tricks. You get a letter saying you're pre-approved for a $20,000 loan at a great rate. Exciting, right? Wrong. Pre-approval means almost nothing. It's a marketing tactic to get you to apply. When you actually apply, they run a hard credit check that can ding your score, and suddenly the rate they quoted isn't available anymore. You might not even qualify for the amount they advertised. The bait and switch is legal because the fine print says rates are subject to approval and creditworthiness. But they count on you not reading that part. They profit when you're late. Late payment fees on credit cards average $30 to $40, but the real penalty is worse. A single late payment can trigger a penalty APR, skyrocketing your interest rate from 18% to 29% or higher. This penalty rate can last for 6 months or longer, costing you hundreds or thousands in extra interest. Banks also report late payments to credit bureaus, damaging your credit score. This makes it harder to get approved for future loans and ensures you'll pay higher interest rates everywhere else. One mistake becomes a long-term profit center for them. Free checking isn't really free. Banks advertise free checking accounts to get you in the door, but there are always strings attached. Fail to maintain a minimum balance, make too many transactions, or go paperless and you'll trigger fees. The account is only free if you play by the rules perfectly. Once you're a customer, they bombard you with offers for credit cards, loans, and investment products where they make their real money. The checking account is a loss leader designed to create a relationship they can profit from later. Automatic payments can backfire. Banks love when you set up automatic payments for subscriptions and bills. Why? Because if you forget about a subscription you're not using, they still process the payment and collect fees if you overdraft. They have no incentive to remind you about recurring charges draining your account. That gym membership you haven't used in 6 months? Still coming out automatically. Banks process these payments even when they know you'll overdraft, then hit you with fees. It's more profitable for them when you're not paying attention to your account. You have more power than you think. Here's the secret banks really don't want you to know. You have options. Credit unions often offer better rates and lower fees because they're not for profit. Online banks have lower overhead and pass those savings to customers with higher interest rates on savings. You can negotiate fees, especially if you're a long-time customer. Threaten to leave and suddenly they can waive charges. Shop around for better rates on loans and savings accounts. Your loyalty isn't earning you anything if another institution offers better terms. Read the fine print, ask questions, and don't accept the first offer. The biggest advantage banks have isn't money, it's knowledge. Most people play the game without ever learning the rules, and that's exactly how the system stays profitable. So here's my question for you. What surprised you the most about how banks really work? Leave your thoughts in the comments. These conversations matter. If this video changed how you look at your money or your bank, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who still trusts the system blindly. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.